rising. May feels like waking up emotionally, not in a soft, dreamy way, but in a damn, I've been ignoring myself kind of way. You might notice it slowly at first, a little irritation here, a little emotional distance there, a moment where you don't respond the way that you usually would. And then it builds because this month is not about what everybody else needs from you. It's about what you have not been giving yourself. And once you start seeing that, you can't go back to pretending everything is fine.
I feel like I need something. You tried to fight, but you my brain is racing for my heart is racing for clarity.
Now, before we go deeper, let me ground you in what you're actually listening to. My name is Sky Santana, better known as Aubrey when I'm doing these more spiritual readings, and I'm here to align you to your highest self, your highest path, and your highest timeline using astrology and intuitive insight. And I need you to understand something. This session, this reading is based on your rising sign because your rising sign determines your houses, which is how these transits actually show up in your real physical life. Okay. Tarot is an energy, tarot is emotional, but astrology, that's timing, that's placement, that's where things are actually happening. So when I'm talking about your 11th house, your 12th house, or your 4th house, I'm telling you exactly where this is playing out. This reading, general. But if you want your personal timing, your exact situation, and your specific outcome, that's when you book a reading. TheAligningsouls.com. That's where we get into you. Okay. So starting off the month of May, full moon in Scorpio in your 5th house. So the month opens and something hits you in your heart, not subtle, not light, but not dramatic either. It's more like you're sitting there thinking about someone or something, and suddenly the feeling changes. This full moon in your 5th house, this is love, this is dating, this is attention, this is pleasure, this is emotional expression, and something about this area is getting exposed. You might realize, I don't actually feel good in this, or I've been given more emotionally than I'm receiving, or even deeper, I've been trying to get something out of this that it was never going to give me. And that realization does not feel good because Cancer, you invest emotionally. You don't just date, you feel. So when something feels off here, it hits your heart directly. Some of you might lose interest in someone suddenly, maybe see someone's true intentions, maybe realize you've been chasing validation instead of genuine connection. And once that realization hits, you can't unfeel it. Now, May 2nd, Mercury enters Taurus in your 11th house. So after that emotional shift, you pull back a little. Your focus moves away from the one-on-one and enter your 11th house. Now you're looking at your friends, your circle, your environment, your future, and something starts feeling different. You might be around people, but not feel connected. You might be in conversations, but mentally checked out. And you might even notice yourself thinking, I don't relate to this shit anymore. And it's not that anything is wrong. It's just you're evolving and your environment is starting to feel like it hasn't caught up yet. You might distance yourself from certain people, question friendships, start thinking about what you actually want your life to look like long term. And so for Cancer risings, this is big because you're so used to holding on to people, even when you've outgrown them. Now, on May 6th, this is where things get deeper. Pluto retrograde in your 8th house. So things are going to get quieter, heavier, because when Pluto goes retrograde in your 8th house, this is where your emotional patterns are going to live. And it's not surface level. This is attachment, control, vulnerability, emotional dependence, right? And now you're sitting with yourself, realizing things like, yeah, why do I keep attaching this way? Why do I give so much and expect so little back? Why do I stay longer than I should? And this is not about somebody else's anymore, right? This is about you, your patterns, your emotional wiring. And that can feel uncomfortable because now it's not, oh, they did this to me. It's, why the fuck do I keep allowing this? Now, on May 16th, new moon in Taurus is happening in your 11th house. So mid-month, something is going to shift and it's subtle but powerful. You start thinking differently about your future, about your life, about what you actually want to be surrounded by, who you want to be surrounded by. And this new moon is like a quiet decision. I want better, not louder, not dramatic, just better. You might start pulling away from people who don't align. Think about new environments, new spaces, want friendships and connections that feel more supportive, more real. And so the key here is that you don't force it. You just stop settling. Now, May 17th through the 20th is Gemini activation. This is where things are going to get introspective because as Gemini energy activates your 12th house, you go inward. This feels like needing space, thinking more than talking, reflecting instead of reacting. You might not feel like being social. You might not feel like explaining yourself. You just need to process. And what you're processing is everything that comes up this month, the relationships, the patterns, the realizations. This is where healing starts quietly. Now, on May 18th, Mars is going to enter Taurus in your 11th house. You start moving differently in your environment. Now you're not just thinking, I need better people. You start acting like it, right? This might look like you being more selective with who you spend time with, putting energy into different connections, showing up differently in social spaces. You're no longer just going with the flow. You're choosing where your energy goes. Also on May 18th, we're going to have Venus that enters Cancer in your first house. And so something beautiful happens. You come back to yourself. Venus enters your first house and suddenly you feel like you again. You feel softer, more aligned, more emotionally in tune. You might take better care of yourself, feel more confident in your energy, attract attention without trying, because now your energy is centered, not scattered. And then lastly, on May 31st, there's going to be a full moon in Sagittarius in your sixth house. And so by the end of the month, you're done. Not emotionally drained, but clear. This full moon hits your sixth house, and now you're making real life adjustments. You might change your routine, shift your work environment, set better boundaries with your time and energy. This is where everything becomes practical. You're not just feeling different, you're living different. And so the final message is this, Cancer risings. This month is emotional, but not in a chaotic way, okay? In a clarifying way. You're seeing what doesn't fulfill you, what doesn't align, what you've been tolerating, and more importantly, you're choosing yourself. So listen, if you've been listening and you're like, yeah, this is hitting, but I still don't know what to do next, that's because this is general. This is for all Cancer risings, but your situation, your chart, your timing, your decisions, that is specific. So if you're serious about getting clarity, breaking patterns, and actually moving in alignment, book your reading, thealigningsouls.com. Because you could keep watching readings all you want, or you can actually get one that's about you. Get on your shit before shit gets on you.